Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is Cheri Arellano with the Ascension Sessions. It's Thursday, July 29th, and I am so excited to be back on the air with you. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Facebook. Thank you all for being here tonight. I am so excited to be back. I hope you're all having a great summer. And we have a very special guest with us tonight. Her name is Viviane Chauvet. And we're going to talk about Arcturian, holographic healing, and all kinds of healing tonight. So I just wanted to come on and say it's great to be here with you tonight. I know you have a lot of choices and options of content that you could be watching out there. So thank you so much for being here. And if you're not a subscriber of this channel yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like the video. It would be great to know who's in the chat room. Please also say hello. Hello, Linda. How are you? It's great to see you in the chat room. I am going to go ahead and bring my guest on tonight because we have so much information to cover. And the 2 hours always flies by really quickly. So without further ado, please help me welcome Viviane Chauvet to the show. Hi.
Yay. Hi.
How are you?
I am very well, very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. It's good to be back.
Good, good. Thank you so much for coming back on the show. It's been a while. It feels like so much has changed in the world and also just, in our own personal lives since then. But it's really great to have you back. Hey, John, how are you? Thanks for coming in the chat room. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about Bifrost. We are going so John is a fan of the show and his little animal companion crossed over today. So yes, I'm so sorry. Sending you much love and healing, and also to Bifrost. What a great name. So thanks for stopping in, John. I hope you're okay. And we are going to hopefully, Viviane doesn't know this yet, but we're going to hopefully do a little healing at the end of the show. So if you want to come back on a little bit later, I would love for you to receive that healing. So I'm going to go ahead and read Viviane's bio. For those of you who don't know her, you're going to get to know her tonight. I know her really well. So if you have any questions, anything that I didn't cover, feel free to put your questions in the chat room. So originally from Canada, Viviane Chauvet is internationally recognized for her inspirational life journey as an advanced Arcturian hybrid. Viviane's healing practice and teachings inspire starseeds and lightworkers to live in universal oneness as sovereign divine essence of light. She is a multidimensional frequency healer, galactic ambassador, trans voice channel, and Arcturus high priestess. Viviane has worked as a hybrid consultant on the J3 film award-winning second documentary, Extraordinary: The Seeding, and will be featured in their third film. Today, she is the producer and co-host of the Infinite Star Connections podcast. And some of her healing modalities, and you guys probably haven't heard of most of these, but they're all very cool sounding. One is crystalline soul healing, unity field healing, soul genesis, theta healing, and QHHT, which stands for quantum healing hypnosis technique. So these are all modalities that you've trained in over the years, Viviane, and like what a nice, beautiful, rounded collection of modalities that you're offering to people. How wonderful.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much, Cheri. I've always have a keen interest to continue expanding and always bringing in, new ways of helping people to heal, expand, and blossom in their true light. So I've been having a lot of fun exploring different ways, different techniques over the years. So it's been quite a journey.
I bet. Can you tell us a little bit about how your healing journey began, and how it all started for you?
Oh,
Like
yes, that's a
how
great
did you
question.
how and when did you know that you were a healer and you wanted to help people?
Beautiful question. Beautiful question. I've known all my life. I always says in an interview that for me, there's a lot of starting point when I was a little child, especially around the age of 5. It's almost like there was this conscious door that opened in me, and I was already having very distinct dialogue with my higher self, my Arcturian group family. And I understood very quickly, even by my own experience, being so exposed to the medical field because of my unique genetics and the way, I was uniquely growing up. So I was exposed a lot to the three-dimensional way of healing oneself, to medical, medications, injection, all of this. And I
Mm-hmm.
realized right there, early on, like little child, who says there are other ways to do this. There's something profound missing about ways of healing and helping your body to restore itself. I always have an innate knowing that your
Mm-hmm.
body was designed originally in its original blueprint, its form, was designed to heal itself, was designed to regenerate itself. It had all the codes and all the faculties to do that. So that realization of implementing a journey for me that will also includes healing, and healing is a big umbrella. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
just physical illness or chronic pains or past issue or emotional issue. Healing is also a form of transformation. It's a journey, and there are so many avenues that we can take. So but really profoundly, to go back to your question, is it was right as a child. I remember clearly, even by the age of 7, 8, sitting in a hospital room being examined for different reasons, and I already have that conscious realization that they're not going about this the right way. There's other ways to do this, and I would say, quite a beginning for me.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's amazing. So were you getting, downloads or information from your guides or your higher self that there were other ways that they could be helping you and they just weren't aware of those methods?
Indeed, absolutely,
Yeah.
Cheri. And because I'm a Arcturian hybrid, I'm in a constant form of trans channel with my group, my star family. So I have a very large group assigned to me by my Arcturian father. I have at least 33 to 34, Arcturian members that always are with me constantly. So think of it this way. It's almost like having a constant feed open, a live feed with the world when you can just communicate at any time. So
Mm-hmm.
when even as a child going back to that space, I would receive transmission like holographic thought forms. They will explain to me, this doctor, for example, or this person or this dentist, they're just abiding by three-dimensional, uh, way of healing yourself. They
Mm-hmm.
don't understand your uniqueness. They don't have the knowledge or the consciousness to handle you in a way that is much more effective. So I would have, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I would have these kind of thoughts coming from my group, my interstellar group, and I would realize that what I would see in that person, and you remember, if I was 7 years old, I'm looking at a specialist or a doctor, for example, who an adult, an already big adult, but I could see through them. I could understand that they were programmed. I can see that they were very limiting in their knowledge and the way they were approaching, health from a
Mm-hmm.
very programmed way. And then later on in life, this is why I really started to take on the path in regards to healing and having a really deep sense, Cheri, of that will be part of what I'm here to do. I just, and then I started, especially in my early 20s, moving on. That was just
Mm-hmm.
the starting point to something else.
Yeah. Do you remember that feeling of like, I know I'm supposed to incorporate this into my life's mission somehow, but not quite having that clear picture yet?
Oh yes, oh yes. And every light worker on the planet has gone through that. You know what
It's
you know without knowing
frustrating.
it.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
it's frustrating, like you said. At the same time, you go like, okay, I'm ready now. Where's the bigger picture? What's next? I'm ready. And they
Hmm.
said, not now. It's coming. Like not now. They still do that with me today. You know, I know
Hmm.
that I'm about to move into a different way of being of service, and I can feel that. They can tell me, and I can feel a three-digit knocking on my shoulders. Not now, little light. Not now. It's coming. And
Right.
then, breathe. It's on the way. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm ready.
I totally get it. So, for the people who don't know you, can you please share with us who the Arcturians are?
Ah, yes, of course. I'm happy to share about my people.
Mhm.
So we have heard a lot about different star civilizations, like the Andromedan, Lyran, the Pleiadians, and so forth. And the Syrian, of course, are very, very known to this Earth. Octurans are getting more and more known. It's an energy, it's a frequency that is more welcoming
Mhm.
back to the planet. So the Octurians are one of the most enlightened and advanced, consciously advanced civilizations, intergalactic and interdimensional civilizations. We come from the realm of Arcturus, which we call the realm of unification. And we came to this multiverse here in your sector through the Sirius Stargate. We traveled to the
Mm.
Stargate and we came here. They are very beautiful beings. Unfortunately, they're really misdepicted and also misinterpreted because they are such high frequency. They're
Mm.
very advanced, and it's a frequency that, back in the time, it's a frequency that was not really well received because we were not simply not in that space, but we are in that space right now. So when I go on the ship and interact with my star family, and especially with my father, my Arcturian father, they're very beautiful, tall, lanky, three long, beautiful digit. They move so gracefully. It's almost like they're gliding, they're not walking, they're more
Mhm.
like, and
Mhm.
they have the most beautiful, gentle, translucent skin. It's the best way I can describe it. And it can almost take on different frequency of light, especially when they travel in the light body frequency and they open portal and that royal blue energy that reflects so well on their skin.
Mhm.
But they're beautiful, they just have bigger eyes that humans do, and even my eye cavity are really big for my human form. But they are so, so loving, and they may appear in a certain way more like, almost like regal, almost like serious in their way. They're very eloquent in
Mhm.
their form of transmitting their essence, their thoughts. At the same time, they can still have a delightful sense of humor that is really Arcturian. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm just very honored to be part of that group and be such a direct conduit and a representative, an ambassador here on this earth,
Mhm.
on their behalf. So I feel very privileged.
I'm sure. I know. I can feel them come in and when they start talking through you, and it's like a quick, subtle energy shift, but it's really fascinating to witness. Um,
Mm.
why are they often depicted as blue? This is a silly question, but it just came in because, and I know I've heard you say, like, don't take this picture too literally because this
Mhm.
might not be what they look like. But as humans, we have to label everything. So we want to be able to see it and go, oh, okay, I identify you. Do you know why? Do you know why they're often depicted as blue? Do they come through that way sometimes for some people?
Well, that's a great question, Cheri, and I've seen that over and over. And sometimes I had this lady I met recently. She said, "Oh, there's these beings come to me, the Arcturians." I say, "Oh, really? And what they look like?" They have 6 fingers and their skin is that color. And I'm like, "Okay, that's interesting. I never seen an Arcturian with 6 fingers." So here's the thing: is that there's a lot of different stages of evolution, but from what I have been experiencing on a continuous, very continuous basis, a very consistent basis since I came back to the planet, basically, is that one thing they have taught me is that they travel because it would be very challenging, very difficult for them to materialize in that compressed density field of the third dimensional reality. It is doable, but it would require an immense amount of energy to match that of the physical realm. It's way too compressed. It's like telling you, let's go at the very bottom of the ocean where the compression is super, super thick, but there's being there who wants to meet you face to face, so you have to be there in that ecosystem. You're going to go, how am I going to pass around that compression, right? Yeah. So
that's a great example.
That's a great example. So think of it this way. So oftentimes what they do, and even with me when they come to my, in my physical house, is that they open a portal, a dimensional portal, and one of their vibrational signature will be that of the royal blue ray, the beautiful, bright royal blue ray energy. And when they come through, they project an aspect of light body consciousness or a light body energy. And when they walk through the very tall portal, the first thing I can see is that reflective energy onto their appearance. It's like telling you, I'm going to merge myself with that green light. So then if I repeatedly come to you this way, you would say, but Viviane is green. And I can understand why you would say that. But when we are on board the ship, when I'm there, because I am engineered to be on board and be in this higher level of dimensional space, when Father comes to me, there's no blue on his skin. It's that I don't even have the words. They have this absolutely beautiful, perfect skin that every woman on the planet would like to have. Go like, oh, I want the skin. Perfect. And I can see.
Can you work on that? Can you work on that?
Let's bring the intention right now.
Yeah.
It's reflecting onto our skin. Collagen.
Start with us. You and I will be the guinea pig. Okay.
Okay. I agree. You're such a good friend and they love you. So of course they will.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
I know, right? No. That's what happened when two friends come on a podcast. That's what's going to happen. That energy of giggling. We're not meditating right now. We're having this beautiful discussion. But I appreciate there's also different variation. I know that there is also crossbreed or hybrid breeds of being in the common. They say we're Arcturians and they're very short. They're a lot shorter. I mean, I look at my father and it's like 10, 11 feet tall. I mean, on the ship, they have this huge opening, like those doors that just automatically open. They're very tall doors. They're not short door. And you can tell that it's perfect for them as they move through the ship. And they are beings who are even taller than us. They are beings like the Antares and the Althors, they're like 14 feet tall. So when they come on the ship, even our doors is too short for them.
Wow.
Yeah, so different variation.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I just speak always from my direct end-to-end experience with my star family. And by respect to everybody else, what they're experiencing, I always speak from my experience for sure.
When you described their skin, I envisioned like an iridescent or holographic, translucent color that can shift almost like a chameleon, like they can change colors and frequencies as needed, depending on their surroundings or what they need to do. If they need to camouflage or whatever. So that's kind of interesting that's the vision I got, the visual.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you. It's so refreshing. Thank you.
Is that accurate? Does that sound right?
It feels so much more in resonance than a lot of things I've heard and seen. And some people depict us with those little elfish point in here or horse looking like head, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
So I have a question since we're talking about holographic and iridescent. And I know that you we live in a multiverse, right? Can you talk about like how the multiverse is holographic? There's a lot of talk right now that we live in this holographic multiverse. What does that mean for somebody who doesn't speak this language or doesn't, talk about these subjects a lot? How can somebody who hasn't experienced it firsthand understand that it's a holographic universe and multiverse?
It's a great question, especially if we want to appeal or connect different level of consciousness together. So if you accept the fact that we are pure energy, if you look at the spaces between the space, or the space between atoms or cells, for example, that contain the void, that contain all there is, if you accept that, and you know that everything, even this cup here, my tea, it feels very heavy and solid in my hands. At the same time, when you start to, I know, that was a gift from my gift from my kids. There we go. Cheers. Cheers to you. If you accept the fact that what you're holding in your hands, that cup, for example, is also made of the same electron, the same energy in action. And if you really change your vibratory state and you start to really looking at the cup from the perspective of quantum and holographic, you will eventually start to see pixelation. How many of you have seen in their life, at least once in their life, either a wall or something that appears solid turn into almost like liquish, like a vortex? Raise your hand, and I tell you there will be many hands raised up. So I've seen walls, solid walls that you would knock your head on, turn into pixelation. Like I can tell it was like simply like water, like liquid water. And I could put my hands through, because what happened is that I was no longer vibrating at the same level. I was adjusting the vibratory rate of what these energies in action look like. And I matched that, and I saw an entire wall turn into a vortex of light, just pure light. It was liquid. And then when I snap into my logic mind, the wall reappeared solid. I even touched it and it was solid. So if you just accept that it's part of our reality, what I call an expanded reality, but think of it this way: how can this apply to the solar system? How can this apply to the Milky Way? How can this apply to the multiverse in itself? So you realize that everything is a constant state of change, right? And everything is a constant state of vibrational state and evolution. But then the possibility that we ourselves are multidimensional and holographic in nature can also apply to the universe that we're living in, that we're evolving in. So, example of this: many people have clear past life memories. You're going to say, what this has to do with my past life? Like if you tap into one of your Akash memory, you're tapping to different timelines. That means that time as we conceive it, past, present, future, is no longer as linear as it seems to be. Like we look at the clock, it's 25 minutes in the show, we got about an hour left, and then that's linear thinking. When somebody access to their past life and memory, you have the ability to align yourself with that aspect of yourself that was, let's say, Egyptian or a high priestess back in ancient Egypt. And I know that resonates with a lot of people right now. You have the ability to connect with an aspect of you, a soul aspect that was a high priest or high priestess in ancient Egypt, feel all the emotions, being able to experience even physical sensation, get clear imagery or memories of certain situation of events that took place, and then you come back into your space and you go, wow, that was intense. What you done is you just traveled through thought forms, through the multiverse, in a timeline, accessing an aspect of you that exists, still exists, and being able to align yourself with that memory and being able to receive transmission from that past life. Now, if that is more accepted, that tells you something about the holographic way of how we are living and how we are evolving. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great example. We can do that in real time. We can do that with past lives and future selves or future timelines. Sometimes I find myself drifting and I'm like already somewhere that I'm supposed to be in the future. And I'm like, oh, that's what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a great definition and explanation. Thank you for explaining that. So is there a difference between what you're calling Arcturian holographic healing and quantum healing? Or is it the same thing with a different wrapper? What's the difference?
Wrappers. That's something that's very important, especially right now in 3D, where we rely so heavily on senses and mental grids and what we can feel with touch, and then what it looks like looks better, it's more shiny. So I like that word, wrapper.
Yes.
So many years ago, when I started to be more publicly active with healing, channel guidance, and be much more actively working with clients in session format, over the years we perfected our heart. And I do say our and we because I always am in a constant state of blended communication. That's one thing I love about the Arcturians is that we're in a constant state of community, our group, our collective. We're always, and I know some people feel that the word collective feel more like a hive mind, but that has nothing to do with that. When you understand the essence of being in a sense of intercommunication with everything and everyone, and yet be absolutely recognized for your expression and your individual expression, it changes the connotation of some semantics, like the word collective. So because I am in that sense, and I love to be that way, because this is part of who I am, we have perfected over time what we now call our Arcturian energy matrix, which is our Octonalographic healing. And what it means for us is that when we work with someone or a group of people, is that we create that quantum space that is holographic space, where at that level, we're no longer abiding by the cosmic law of the third dimensional reality. We're no longer subjected to the linear time and other form of restriction that you feel that you have in this matrix reality. We are able to perceive different directions at all aspect and being able to calculate or evaluate what aspect needs to be coming through in that holographic space. So I'm simplifying how it looks like, or giving you an idea of what we mean by Octonalographic healing through our energy matrix, because it's so much more effective. And then what we do is that we work with the avatar of light with that person, and we align everything with their reality, with their timeline, and then physically, whether it's the body template, the soul matrix, whether it's also realigning that new structure that we're working on and reintegrating in this reality to match, that person timeline. So I know it may sound like very complex, very out there, but at the same time, it helps to accelerate the healing, the transformation. It helps to accelerate the person timeline so that person can really move forward with more ease and really start to embrace other aspect and being able to say, okay, I'm getting new vision. Now I understand another part of myself. Now I'm ready to embrace my own soul design. And it really opens up new perspective and new way of perceiving their reality.
So it sounds like, well, this is what I heard, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. But it sounds like when you work with a client and you're doing, a holographic healing, like you basically, your team comes around and opens a portal, right? So there's like healing coming through the multiverse or the universe or wherever they are, like they're here and they're there, but a space is created for them to come in and assist with the healing. Does that, my way off?
Well, there's definitely, no, it's beautiful actually, Cheri. It's beautiful. I love the way you bring, that's what I love about us is that we're so complementary. You're going to bring it in a different way and explain in different words. And I love that. So we're definitely create a space. That it's a given. Absolutely. And when we are in that space, we are in a complete soul essence connection with the person. It's challenging sometimes to explain in logic,
I know,
language,
and words.
Right?
Yes, words are so hard to talk about healing in words. Oh, my light just went out right when I said that.
See?
So I'm gonna have to go fix my light. Okay, well, go ahead. I think you were gonna try to answer my question better.
And oh, it's perfect. By the way, your light is perfect when it's just to shine.
I don't need to put it back on? Okay, because yeah, it just went off.
Great.
It's so funny.
You look great.
Thank you.
I'm telling you.
Thank
your
you.
other light comes in, it's perfect, so no way. Perfect. Okay. It's just the analogy. I need to fix my light. No, your light is perfect.
It's kind of funny.
Right?
I think your team is over here messing with me. No, just kidding.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, they do have their own sense of humor.
I know.
Sometimes they will say something, and I think it's absolutely hilarious. And then if I were to say the same point of humor to somebody else, I will hear crickets. But to me, it's hilarious. They're very witty in the way they're, and the way they talk. It's just, anyway, I could spend another hour just on that, but. The quantum space, yes, we do open that beautiful space. It's almost like, it's like we're no longer, it's like being on and off planet at the same time. So of course, when they come,
right,
physically they're still on the ship, or we have the ability to open certain portal that can bring in also the light of Arcturus, and it can be downloaded into the body, in the light body in a certain way.
Yeah.
But one thing I've noticed.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. One thing I've noticed as of late is how much we are entering the realm of light. I can tell you that when we are deep in that connection with a client and we're right into the work, all I see around me, with my eyes closed, of course, all I see around me is the realm of light. We are completely in the light. And that reminded me also when I was brought in the realm of the light by Master Sananda. I went there 2-3 times consciously. And walking in the realm of light it's a profound way of going home to the very point of origin, to Prime Creator, to where there's just oneness, there's nothing else, there's just the light, everything else, it's just fading, blending, it's non-existent. And when we work, I notice more and more the blending of the realm of light coming through. And I see different structures of light coming in. I see different corridor. I see different energy field coming in, forms. It's just it's incredible how much it's evolving.
Wow, that's beautiful. And when you say we, you mean you and your team, right? Or are you saying that everyone is moving more into the light? It sounds like it's coming online more and more as you're doing more sessions.
It's much more predominant than it was.
Awesome. So can you talk a little bit about crystalline soul healing and soul genesis? Are you still doing all of these modalities? Like, do you kind of merge all of your modalities into your work? Or are you evolving and kind of like taking the best of those and creating your own healing modality with your team? Because I know that can happen at times, right? Like we learn all these little things along the way, and then we get to our position as a healer where we kind of take the best of what we love and make our own types of healing modalities.
Well, that is a given. That is actually encouraged, very much encouraged from everyone. Like, even yourself as a healer and other practitioners, we come to the point where we're adding our own unique vibrational signature to the healing. You may have learned frequency, you may have learned about chakra balancing, you may have been a master, a Reiki master, or even a massage therapist. But it comes to the point where you reach a level of such conduit in terms of your ability to connect and redirect the energy or redirect what the client needs the most, that it's outside of your box, your toolbox, or your box of tools, in French.
Yeah.
Toolbox, thank you. I reverse my words all the time.
That's
toolbox.
Okay.
Especially at night like this, I'm like, oh yeah. It's outside your toolbox. And so to answer your question more directly to what we do, the Arcturian energy matrix healing, which also include the holographic part of it, it's very unique to us. This is what we have perfected and built and come to bring together with my group, my interstellar group, and I over time. When I've learned other tools like Soul Genesis is a beautiful one. I haven't explored too much with it so far. It's just more recent, the Soul Genesis, and I went through different levels, like 3 levels of Soul Genesis. One thing that I'm incorporating from this, and it's brand new, is called a Soul Genesis Soul Akashic Soul Reading Profile. That's completely new. I'm just starting to do that. And that's also very much taking from Soul Genesis, combined with who I am. Because of who I am, there are many innate abilities, ways for me to tap into information that is, there's no books that will teach you. The books will guide you in a certain way to techniques, but you take it from there and then you master it and then you bring your uniqueness in that sense. So Soul Genesis is more recent. We working with, looking at different archetypal patterns, imprint, transition gateway, which is very powerful. The Destiny Gateway, which is also really impactful in terms of helping clients to change direction in life and creating significant changes. So I am thinking I am always in a constant state of holographic telepathic exchange with my group and says, how can we incorporate different packages that will bring aspect, let's say, of Soul Genesis to really better pinpoint or map, new needs and how people are evolving, and what was healing even 2 years ago is different from now. It's not the same anymore because the needs have changed. So we need to update. And that's why with our Arcturian energy matrix, which includes the holographic part, it's that evolving ways of being of assistance. We're also moving into group. We're doing now Arcturian holographic group healing. It's new from the past few months that once a month I do more that healing in the group settings when my collective comes and directly will build. Thank you. Build a crystalline dome of light around the group, and even if it's done remotely, I can see you in the holographic field. I can see everyone as if we were sitting in circle in a room all together, and then my collective come and they're assigned, they will take charge for everybody, and they built this dome, this crystalline dome. And when we do the group healing, oh, it's really powerful. I hear so many beautiful comments about that. So we're expanding also more into group healing because, you know, for over 8 to 9 months, I've been doing almost like 10 hours of healing a day because I can't keep up with the demands, and doing lots of one-on-one, it's wonderful. At the same time, you know, there's more, a much global planetary reach when we do groups to allow more people to come in. So, you know, we're in transition with all of this. And so all of the tools that you mentioned, sometimes I will extract a tool of one or two out of it, and then I will see how it will fit the best for that person in that particular blueprint at a time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a question from the audience, and before I get to Linda's question, I put Viviane's website up on the screen, so everyone, if you guys want to go check her out, her website is infinitehealingfromthestars.com. And if you've just joined us, we're talking with Viviane Chauvet, and we're talking about all kinds of different healing, but specifically Arcturian holographic healing. And Linda has a question. If you're ready for an audience question, she wants to know if your clients are able to mentally communicate with your team when you are doing the healing.
It's a great question. It's not mental communication. It's more thought, and it's more soul to soul. It's consciousness to consciousness. It's not to the mind that will happen. It's more like consciousness. It depends on the person. Many clients I have are really beautifully already open. They're channeling themselves. They're very receptive. They will feel very closely what's going on. They can feel the presence of my group. There were a lot of interaction going on. So the language or the level of intercommunication will greatly depend on the level of receptivity of the person that we are working with, level of consciousness, if there's any other filters of fear, anxiety, doubts, or self-doubts, or anything like that. It was only with filters. But it's always available, especially when we are working one-on-one with someone. There's always a level of communication that's going on. It's just up to the person to recognize, that communication.
What I love about spending time with you is, like, I always feel your energy so strongly. Like, I immediately get, it's weird. It's like part of me goes way off into the cosmos. Like, I almost feel like I'm going to have vertigo. And then part of me feels really centered and really grounded. It's like this weird push-pull where I just want to, like, close my eyes and go into meditation with you. And probably because we do that all the time.
That's true.
For our once a month monthly meditation. But it's such a heavy energy. Like, it's so grounding in a way, but also like shoots me way up into the cosmos where it's hard to stay in my body. It's hard to describe, but I've always felt that with you. And even through the screen, but it's even stronger in person. So do other people describe that when they're either getting a healing from you or around you or anything like that?
Oh, yes, definitely, Cheri. And I know that sometimes just by our presence, we feel like we're going to challenge people just by the frequency, because we invite you, even if an unspoken invitation, we're inviting you to transcend and go beyond yourself. And after time where I've seen reported people will become more agitated, or they will feel like there's some old energy coming to the surface because that energy is pulling up to the surface what needs to be resolved and healed and open, and also an advice to elevation. So I've heard that multiple times over and over, whether it's on Zoom when we do sessions or in person, that when they are in our presence and the frequency, like, whoa, you have a very large team, or oh, I can feel that frequency, I feel a bit lightheaded, or I will feel that. So he always says, just take in what you need and then let everything else integrate at your own pace. And then understand that it's always an invitation for you to accelerate, expand, heal, bring more, and activate what is already in you and potentially more dormant. So
Yeah.
yes, we're definitely a force of nature. That's why we're here. This is why I'm physically here, boots on the ground, right? I'm not just coming from a ship, which would be so much easier, but still.
Yeah, I know. And I feel like I can feel a lot of heart energy right now. Like my whole heart area is like I'm aware of it. It's a really interesting feeling. So awesome. So Linda says thank you, and a very interesting answer to her last question. She also wants to know if we'll be attending any events in the Las Vegas area anytime soon. So my husband's there right now, but unfortunately, I don't have any plans to be there anytime soon. And I know you were just there for the, was it the UFO conference a few months ago?
It was called the 5D Quantum Consciousness Conference in March, this past March. We would have had an opportunity to go back to Vegas in November, but we're already busy. When I say we in that place, it's my husband and I. We're already have other engagement for a conference in Laughlin, Nevada, in the next week. So we won't be in Vegas anytime soon.
But you'll be in Laughlin. You'll be in Laughlin?
Yeah. We'll be in Laughlin, Nevada in November.
That's pretty close to Las Vegas.
Yeah,
and I know Linda is not too far from there, so maybe she'll get to go see you in person. And how was Sedona? You were just at the 5D conference. Can you share a little bit about the 5D conference in Sedona?
Yes, the Phoenix Rising 5D conference. My husband and I, Peter, were there. We were both speakers. It was wonderful. We had a beautiful group, wonderful people coming, and also as well as the speakers. When we were invited to speak at that conference, my Arcturian group came. My father said, okay, you're going to go there. You're on a mission. I said, what's my mission? And he said, we're here to help to significantly heal the planetary vortex for the great divine feminine. And it's right in Sedona, which is not, it's beyond vortexes. It's the planetary vortex for the great feminine energy, the divine feminine. So I say, okay. I accept that. So we accept to speak, and we went. And sure enough, it was an extremely, even through Mother Nature, very deeply purging weekend where they receive a phenomenal amount of water. I mean, we went through pure sun to thunderstorm to flood to return to the sun to more flood, and then finally pure blue sky with sunlight. So we went through different phases of purging, and you can tell it's almost like we were helping the planet to purge its emotional field. It was really phenomenal. We made lots of great connections, connecting with other speakers. We also have the presence of the Native Americans, the Hopi. There was a native, a Hopi eagle dance, and the dancer it's all one part of the same clan, and they came to honor us with their traditional singing and the eagle dance. That was really beautiful. That was on Sunday, to be in the presence. And we know that intergalactic beings and the Native Americans, we have worked together so much. So there's a recognition. And I spoke with one of the artists there. He's directly from the Hopi reservation, the first Mesa. And I can tell him when he was looking at me, there was a soul recognition. He can recognize and see the star being in me, and it was really beautiful. So it was beautiful. We were very happy to be there. Very challenging, very purging. So it was absolutely worth it in every sense of the word. And I glad to say, mission accomplished. So
Awesome. That's wonderful. I know there's a lot of different vortexes in Sedona and probably in other places in Arizona as well, not just Sedona. And I know that you like really intentionally chose to move to Arizona and live in Arizona. And it was like a very healing place for you. Can you speak a little bit about Arizona and share whatever you know about the vortexes and the healing energy there, and just anything at all that you can share about it? And I have a little bit of a selfish reason for asking, but also I've heard you talk about it, so I think that it's really interesting to share.
absolutely. I see you coming, but that's fine. We're going to indulge you.
You're like, it's happening.
And that's perfectly fine. I was like, okay, let's indulge. You're right. I moved from Canada to Arizona about 15 years ago, and it was very, very clear. Back in 1997, when I first came to Arizona, I went to Tucson on a group trip, and then my collective comment, they said, you have to leave the group. You're not here for the group, you're here for something else. And they were already, what was happening is that the canyon around Tucson and the energy of that vortex over there was already speaking to me. And I was already attuning energetically myself with the land, with the place. And then my team came and they said, this is your next home. You have to come here. This is where you're coming. This is where you're going. Well, it was back in 1997. I was well established in, Montreal. My family is there, my human family. My whole human life is there. I had a career. I was set for life. And I'm thinking, that's an interesting concept of telling me this is my next home, which is another country, but it's next door, but still another country. And I know no one here, and I have no connection, no roots here. And they said, it's of no consequence. This is what you're coming. This is how they speak to me. This is of no consequence. You're coming here. So,
like a true father, spoken like a true dad.
Well, it's all part of friendly service for sure. And then, so I made a connection. I make a very conscious energetic connections, and I felt it in my being. I knew that this is where I need to come. So it took me 9 years to accomplish that. And then in 2006, yes, 2006, then I moved to Arizona. And then I can tell you one thing is that there's are very, very ancient grids, even in the valley where I am. So we all know about Phoenix, the valley. You have Phoenix, you have Tempe, Mesa, Chandler, Gilbert. You have, different city. And Mesa, it's the oldest city of the valley in Arizona, not up north, but in the valley. And just Mesa alone, you can feel very, very ancient vortex, very ancient point of connections. I lived in Mesa for a number of years, and when I was done with that energy, they said, "This you're no longer required to be in this energy field. Your work is done. You have to move now." And then, sure enough, I moved like right away. Life took me in a different part of the valley. But one thing I can tell you is that when you're in Arizona in the valley and you live here, there is a natural awakening that starts. There's a process. There's almost like first unconscious, energetically your body attune itself, your subtle body of light as attune itself. There is so much invitation here, even to the mountains. We're surrounded by a different chain of mountain, including, a superstition mountain, are very, very rich in activity, whether it's UFO, whether it's portals. I've seen the portals firsthand. I've interacted with some beings coming to the portals. It shifts you vibrationally, whether you're ready for this or not. There's a natural vibrational shift going on. And for me personally, over the many years being here, I've gone through so many levels of downloads and awakening. Like, it's almost like shedding an old skin, moving into the next one, and then I will integrate that, and then I will go to the next one in the next phase. I saw the moment I set foot in Arizona, the first 2 years was absolutely off the chart. I went to an acceleration, reset of the brain, new neural pathway coming through, a complete downloads, new sets of frequencies of light, and there's a lot of activity. So I have a lot of different contact, whether with either groups, other groups, parallel beings. I saw the angelic realm opening right in my house. I could see that portal opening with my physical eyes. I've seen archangels coming through. I've seen all kinds of things. There is an ancient grid or ancient grids in the plural form that is really support the light workers, and they can feel the soul level. When you're ready, you're being called to be here. There's a calling. Like I had in 1997, the calling started there for me. And then when I moved officially here and all the resources aligned, everything, the dots aligned to bring me here. I remember the night before I took the plane, went on the plane and came here. They came and they said, ready or not, you have to go. And they said, there's no need to doubt. Everything will align itself. So, because remember, I sold everything I owned. I left everything behind. I quit my long 20-year plus career. I left everything to come here. Wow. So they really have to give me point of reassurance that I am right on point. And Cheri, oh boy, I can tell that I'm a completely different version of who I am. I am much more powerful. My ability have increased. I have been challenged a great deal, for sure. Arizona will bring you those trials and errors, and they will challenge you because every time you are moving outside a comfort zone, you're moving outside a perception of yourself that is really redefining who you are and what your capabilities are. And it's been incredible. Very rich journey.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. That's such a cool story. And, you took a leap of faith and, sold everything. Like I was picturing you moved all your stuff, but it sounds like you just let it all go and started over, which is always difficult to do. So that's amazing. And I've also heard that, there's a lot of different types of vortexes in Arizona, even in the Sedona area, which is known for its vortexes. There are really positive ones and maybe not so positive ones there.
There is. Now think about it, because we're still within the polarized field of opposite energies. We say that in a very positive way right now. There's always a polarity field. So like the yin and the yang, positive, negative. It's the same thing with vortexes. For those who are very involved in doing vortex guide tours and all of this, it tells you, oh, it's all energy. You have to be mindful, because I've seen many instances with either personal friends or clients saying, oh, I went on a tour and we were brought to certain vortexes and the energy was like, I didn't feel good. I had physical symptoms. I felt dizzy, because you're not necessarily moving through a junction that is the most positive. And, like for example, in Sedona, like the place around Bell Rock, that's very positive vortexes there. Cathedral Rock, Bell Rock, I always go there. It's very positive, very uplifting. There's other part of Sedona like Boynton Canyon or Boynton Vortex. It's the opposite of the polarization field. And you will see even nature, you will see sometimes trees are like twisted or branched, or we are looking. I have personal friends that just came back from there, and they were in Boynton Canyon right on the tour. And when they came back, there was an attachment, their field was disruptive. We have to clear that
Wow.
out and so you have to be utilizing your mindfulness, utilizing your high level of discernment that not all vortexes are equal. Even though they said, oh, it's okay, we've done those stores for 25 years. Well, if you've done those stores for a long time, wouldn't you be an expert at recognizing what vortex is vibration in a higher state than the others? And
Right.
if they said no, then question that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Question
and
that.
for them, maybe it's just a business. Maybe it's not even their mission is not to heal everyone on the
Oh, it's
planet, but who knows?
sometimes it's a
And
bit more than that.
yeah, sometimes it's intentional. I was trying to keep it positive,
But still, it's
but
positive.
um, these vortexes, can't they be changed? Like how did that negative vortex get created, and who has the power to change it? Is it
We all
Gaia?
do. Well, Gaia in collaboration and partnership with who we are. That's the thing about today is that we have to. The invitation is very, very clear for everyone on the planet. Is get to know who you are, understand the divinity, the power that you really carry and hold in you. So,
Mm-hmm.
like anything else, the same thing with water. You have the power to change the molecular structure of the water. There's no need for machines to do that. We can do it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why we are very prone on re-emphasis and very focusing on the empowerment. We're here to help you remember your own empowerment. And that means in the face of a vortex is the same way. So if you look at the principle that we are still evolving for now in a polarized field, so there's negative, there's positive. Those vortexes are very old. They've been there for a long time. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing new. We did not create anything. We're simply rediscovering what's already there, like we're discovering the true history of the earth. Oh, did I say that out loud? I did. Okay. Moving forward. But when you are in the presence, let's say you're going on a hike or you are going on a tour in Sedona, utilize your own intuition. And people would say, but I don't feel. Yes, you do. You may not feel with your mind or feel with your physical senses, but feel
Mm-hmm.
with your heart. Feel with your being. Guarantee that you feel. It's just a different way of how you interpret those feelings or those feedback. So
Mm-hmm.
there was a time, especially around 2017, when Sedona went a bit downhill energetically, and it was more primarily lots of dark, very negative energies.
Hmm.
I know because I was there for a few days and I witnessed some things happening. And my team says, you're going to have to avoid that section of Arizona for the next 2 years. And then things have shifted. And
Wow.
now we were just there and things have shifted. It has to return to a more natural equilibrium.
Mm-hmm.
So we went through like a domino effect, like the scale of balance shifted the
Right.
other way. And so Sedona is returning to a more pristine energy right now, which I'm pleased to see. That is because we all individually and collectively shifting. You see how many more people are awakening consciously, awakening to their spiritual path, awakening to their gifts, being
Mm-hmm.
called to higher purpose. There's no longer that 3D corporate job. They feel like there's other calling. I want to be a healer. I want to help others. I want to work with
Mm-hmm.
children. I want to be of service. I hear that all the time. That's
Mm-hmm.
because there's a huge awakening wave coming through on the planet. We're in it right now. So what does it do? It also shifts how these point of energy are connecting to. Everything's shifting. Even the earth has shifted dimensionally, tremendously. This is what we call moving into spatial time. She's shifting to
Mm-hmm.
space and time. She's shifting dimensionally. So think of it this way. If you're in a certain axis that is more facilitate if you would, certain point of vortex or opening to different density of energy, that if you keep it this way, then those points will stay that way. But then as everything shift and move, then those points of connection are no longer aligned and no longer sustain the same way as they were. So it's just to tell you that everything is in a constant state of changes, including those vortexes. And I've seen that even here in the valley, where there were certain mountains or point around certain mountains that were very active and no longer active. Many years ago, I was told that there was one portal open above one mountain in particular. And then these group that I was in telepathic communication with, they said, we're shifting, we're moving dimensions, so we're going to close that portal. And they closed the portal, and I never felt them after that. So that's an example of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gaia has, you know, different portals all around the planet. And I guess there's different beings or star nations or whatever you want to call them who take advantage of these portals. And sometimes they get shifted, you know, either more negative or more positive. So it's really good, I think, and important to bring awareness to this topic because I think that's maybe not common knowledge. And as we're going through this ascension and everybody's becoming like more sensitive and more online, like we need to be really careful where we surround ourselves with. And it's funny because my question about Arizona was, you know, partially selfish because, as you know, I've been trying to move and, you know, usually when I'm manifesting something, the vision comes in really clearly and I'm like, okay, this is where I need to go, or this is what I need to do. And I've been in this really weird holding pattern. And, you know, like your guides were saying, it's not time. It's not time. I feel like there's something that hasn't fully aligned yet for us to be exactly where we're supposed to be. So there's all these, you know, unspoken things that happen. It's not just all 3D.
No,
it's not just the housing market.
no, it's beyond that. It really is. And of course, you know, when you are attuned like you are, Cheri, and you know intuitively something is not completely aligned just yet. And when it's aligned, no matter what the 3D environment looks like, it's happening no matter what, right?
Absolutely.
And I felt that for you.
Thank you. So it's 8:10. We have a little less than an hour left. I can't believe how quickly that went by.
Wow.
So everyone, thanks for hanging in there with us. I know this can be a long show sometimes, but there's a lot of really interesting information to cover with Viviane. She's a wealth of knowledge. And so as we go into hour 2, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel, The Ascension Sessions, and like this video if you're enjoying this content. And you can also check us out on Telegram and Instagram and Facebook if you haven't already. So Linda has another question. She says, wouldn't you need to be attuned or receptive to even know if the vortex is positive or negative?
Yes, and that's why trusting yourself is important. We all are naturally attuned. All of us. It's depending on how you utilize it. So even let's say somebody who claimed to be not as receptive or open to or still exploring that realm, when you are in the presence of someone that emanates positive energy versus in the presence of someone that emanates, let's say, more negative intention or have different energy that feel off, you don't need to be very attuned or intuitive to recognize that something is off here. It might be me, maybe I'm imagining something, but something is off. And I know that basic way to look at it, it has happened to everyone. So the same principle. When you are, let's say, on a tour, and you're having a good time, you're laughing, it's fun, there's so much energy, and then out of the blue, the guide took you to another vortex or another portion, and then suddenly something shifts. Your energy's not as high. You may have a little bit of stomach ache, or something just doesn't feel the same way. Then ask yourself, ask for guidance, call upon your light, call upon your guardians of light, call upon your higher self. Help me understand what I am feeling right now. If it's just something I'm picking up from somebody else, then I release it back to the light. If there's more to it, help me understand. Guaranteed, even through your physical form, your body, antenna, the energy will be very perceptive. Your energy will be, your body will be able to let you know that something is off. So the more you're listening to those kind of hunches, the more you are attuning naturally to be receptive to variation of frequency, energy, when something is on and something is off. So we're bringing back to the basic just to give everybody more confidence with your own natural ability that you already have right now. You need to trust that more. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. I think that's the first step of awakening, is just trusting yourself more and start to notice your intuition or that gut feeling. Did you ignore it again? Or did you maybe try listening to it this time? If you met someone new, how did you feel after you interacted with them? It's really small things like that that help you come online, as they say, as you're going through this process. So great question, Linda. Thank you so much for asking. Viviane, I wanted to ask you, and you kind of spoke to this a little bit earlier, but I wanted to ask, what do the Arcturians want us to know in terms of where we're headed? Like, what do they have a big message for humanity in terms of where we are right now in this ascension process as we're coming out of COVID and, all this craziness that's been happening in the world? People are kind of like seeking and searching for answers. And I wonder if they have any answers for us.
There's multiple answers indeed. And I would feel that the essence of it would be, it's more than ever the time to bring in that search for answers and discovery from within. It's no longer, how much information you digest or ingest or allowing to come into your field of awareness. It's more in terms of seeing and feeling that you're healed by soul design, that you're here on a very divine design, and allowing yourself to go back into your quantum space, go back into your sacred space, and really understanding the full capability of who you are, what you are capable of, what you can do as a beautiful co-creator, co-manifester, reclaiming that part of your divinity within you and allowing yourself to really release stigma, layers of unresolved emotions, personality, trait, releasing also all the stickers, the labels that's been put on you. And if you look at your own path, your life path, you will see that you'll be able to be more present of the extracting very common point. What have you learned? What pearl of wisdom have you learned so far that allows you to engage into higher mental capability of discernment to analyze, really analyzing from different perspective? You're receiving a lot of perspective right now, whether it's negative, positive, uplifting, whether it's serving the narratives or whether it's serving the ascension. You're receiving a lot of perspective. So what is it that you accept in your own reality that in turns turn into core values, belief systems, and influence what your reality feels like? Because I can guarantee you that my reality will feel very different from the one from Cheri, from Linda, from everyone. What we do is that we're overlapping our realities and we have point of junction, like this show for this podcast right now. This is our junction point where we are converging to and interacting with each other. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really time to put aside the lower version of you that's like, oh, it's human to make mistake, or I was brought up in a certain way, or I was deceived by religion, I was deceived by government, I was deceived by. This is just part of the narrative that we're here to heal and transmute in a sense. What is
Mm-hmm.
the bigger picture behind it? What is your bigger picture? What is this your soul telling you? What is your heart is telling you? It's something that my team reminded me even today when I was in session. They always says, feel, listen to the intelligence of your heart. You are returning to what we call living and utilizing your empathic intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
It is really time, it's an urgency to return to that point of what you eat, what you think, what you create, what you convey, what you manifest. It's through the power of your heart. And I know we hear about the heart over and over. It has been, in my humble opinion, it has been misused a lot. Is to return to the foundation of who we are, the pristine aspect of who we are. Who are you? Do you know? Not
Mm-hmm.
not your name, not where you grew up, what you do for a living, what you like, dislike, or what you think you know. No, no. I'm talking about who are you? Who am I talking to? Who are we interacting with?
Mm-hmm.
That part of you, understanding aspect of your soul. Do you even accept that you may have had other lifetime, that you have access to those lifetimes, that you're multidimensional, that you can have the ability to heal yourself? Do you accept that about you? Or are you still too much engaged or attached to the 3D narratives that have dictated to you what you can do and what you're not able to do? So for us at this point
Yeah.
of time, it's really anchor back yourself into your light, living in the certainty of your light, living life to the eyes and the intelligence of your heart, of your own internal being. And then this human aspect, it's an aspect of your experience here. So this is
Mm-hmm.
really much a very core essence of what we would like to convey, especially right now, where we're being bombarded so much by information, disinformation. The cup is overflowing with information. So empty your cup and see exactly. Reveal to me my truth, reveal
Mm-hmm.
to me the truth of my path. Show me now I'm ready to take on the next level of service. Allow me to see what it looks like, what it feels like to be of service. What does it mean to you? And that will allow you to tone down the noise of
Mm-hmm.
this world, whether it's for uplifting, whether it's to prevent you from growing. Just go back to that space and listen, receive, feel. There's so much more we're discovering. It's like human beings are like giants of light have been thought to be.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you're a little dwarf, but you're giants. It's like, let's go back to that space, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's go back to that place. And that's what we're doing right now, more and
Yeah.
more.
Thank you. That's a great answer. I love that. I do feel like there's so much truth in all of that you just said. We need to go within and stop listening to all the noise that's
Mm.
out there. It's crazy making and all sides. I don't even like to say both sides because there's more than two sides. Even though at times it feels like there's only two sides. There are multiple sides with multiple agendas. So yeah, just go inside and try to turn off that noise. And it's really interesting because I've noticed since I've done that, like, in the beginning, I felt like I had to have my ear to the ground and know everything that was coming and what was going on. And it makes you kind of crazy. It's crazy making because you get to the point where you don't know what to believe. And then when you turn all of that off and you just focus on your own reality and what's right here, right in front of you now, it's a lot easier to manifest and to create your reality and to have the kind of day you want to have and interact with the kind of people you want to have in your life. So I think it's a really simple message, but so important and so timely right now.
Hmm.
So thank you for
Yes,
sharing that.
you're
Absolutely.
welcome.
Did a kitty cat come in the room?
Yeah, she is.
Oh, okay. Oh, who's
That's my
that?
peanut. That's my
Pete.
peanut. My
Oh,
peanut.
so cute. She looks a
She's my
little bit assaulted. Her face is like, wow, look at those eyes. She's
yeah.
incredible.
She's gorgeous. Look at her striping.
Yeah, she's really gorgeous.
You
And
keep
there's a white
mentioning.
one too. So, I wanted to ask you also, like, what are your duties as a galactic ambassador? Like, what kind of duties do you feel come into your awareness? What kinds of things do you feel responsible for in terms of helping, communicating, bringing down information?
There's a lot actually. I'm still what's called an ambassador in training. There's a very important phase of being a galactic ambassador in my case that is coming through. It's not there just yet. But when I feel like what is it, you're my duties, I can feel that I feel responsible for the planet. I can feel um, that we're here to protect the sacredness of life. We're here to bring a very powerful presence as how could I say that, paradigm shifting. We're here to shift a paradigm of suffering and pain and entrapment. Where one thing that we're very passionate about is the liberation and
Mhm.
the freedom and the protection of the sacredness of life. That means it's reminding all of you that you too are a steward or guardians for this planet as you are here in this incarnation. So living in attunement with animals, that's why my girl came as a representative for the animal kingdom, going back
Mhm.
into living life through the sacredness of recognizing all life forms. Even when you see an insect or a tree or a flower, I can tell you when you are returning in a space of recognizing life and you feeling that you are part of that life, whether that life has a different physical form than yours, it really accelerates an aspect of your enlightenment, which connects you back to feeling the sacredness of the entire matrix of life, knowing that you are a part of the
Mhm.
matrix and the matrix is a part of you. You no longer see yourself that, oh, it's just an animal, or I can do whatever, and it's just the way it's been. You're
Mhm.
shifting completely. I'll give you an example of this. When I was in my early 20s, I was watching a movie, a comedy, and you will not think much of it, but that movie triggers something in me that accelerate another aspect of shifting paradigm into my diet. And
Mm.
almost overnight, I do say almost overnight, I shifted into a conscious paradigm where I no longer chose to partake of eating animals. And then when
Mhm.
I start to do that, I had other point of connection in me that start to open up, immensing other part of myself. And I'm able to feel the animal kingdom. I can feel them very predominantly, very vividly. And
Mm.
when you start to evolve in that sense, your
Mhm.
choices, your behavior, the way you perceive life, the way you're interacting with life is shifting completely. And there's no turning back. So living
Mhm.
in an enlightened way is to recognize that you are in a synergy form with all evolving consciousness and life form, including the planet herself. And this is
Mhm.
one thing we feel that feel it's a bit missing in within the human civilization is wake up, choose with your heart, not with the lower mind or the program of what you believe to be in a certain way. Oh, this is my way and I'm set into it, even though it may create ripple effect for others. Is when you start to feel in your being honoring all life. I have insect coming to me and I can communicate with them. You would say, this woman
Wow.
is crazy. She's talking to insect. I'm not crazy.
I talk
Because,
to them too. I say, get out of my room,
yeah, exactly. Thank you.
or I'm going to get my fly swatter.
Well,
No,
it
I'm just
depends on
kidding.
which one, but yeah, I got my
Sorry.
limit, but yeah. But you know,
But
I'm
I
pushing.
do give them a chance to leave, honestly. Honestly, I always give them a chance to leave because I don't like killing anything. I'm also vegetarian. So sensitive to those beings. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, there's a return, because I'll tell you what other aspect it does. It brings back a profound aspect of self. It's
Hmm.
an aspect that has been disconnected a long time ago, and
Right.
it's opening that gateway, that soul gateway, and you feel that you are retrieving a very sacred aspect of self that is
Hmm.
also part of the ascension. You know, I don't know about you, Cheri, but when I work with people, I hear that a lot. Oh, I want to make sure I don't miss the bridge. I want to go into 5D. I don't want to be left behind. So if you look at what does it mean moving in 5D or fifth dimension, it means that we all need to consciously accept that evolutionary bridge. That means that there's a lot of
Hmm.
things going to change. You cannot stay in the same paradigm and says, it's okay, I'm just going to accept I'm in 5D, I'm going to move in that direction. So shifting how you are interacting with others, with yourself, how do you respect yourself? How do you
Hmm.
perceive yourself? Um, it helps to open up other aspect of the soul level that bring back more soul energy into the body, that brings
Hmm.
aspect of enlightenment, that is also triggering, accelerating that ascension process, and returning to a higher state of consciousness and rising your frequency and living in a higher frequency.
Hmm.
So, you know, this is something that we're very passionate about. We're like guardians of life. We're there to protect the sacredness of life, the evolution of life, because we recognize the divine energy behind of it. We recognize also the universal intelligence behind all of this. And it's something that I feel like we need to bring that back now and
Hmm.
all level, all level.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. That's such an important message. And you're right, like there was a huge disconnect, and it's still there, but I feel like there are a lot more people coming online in terms of making that connection between their actions and how they might harm other sentient beings. Everything we do is a vote, right? We vote with our actions and our words and our minds and etc. So yeah, that's really beautiful. So again, we're at the bottom of the last hour at 8:30 here, and we're going to be wrapping this up with a beautiful, Viviane, I wanted to ask you if you would be so kind as to share a group healing or meditation with the audience today, because I know that when you and I hold space together, it becomes very beautiful, very healing. And I don't, often ask this of my guests, but I think that it would be such a treat, like in terms of what we're talking about, protecting Gaia, healing the vortexes, helping people come online, awakening their ascension, their own personal ascension. I would love it if you would lead us in a healing meditation. How does that sound to you?
Well, how can I say no to that, right?
Not to put you on the spot.
Of course, and where's the flashlight? Um,
Okay, awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
and I was just going to say, if there's anything else that you wanted to talk about or share with the audience about what you've been up to. I know you have a podcast as well. If you can share a little bit about the podcast before we go into a meditation, because after the meditation, we can just kind of wrap it up and let people go to sleep, or just go offline with that beautiful peace in their hearts.
oh, absolutely, Cheri. Thank you for
Hmm.
asking. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of there's a lot of things cooking coming up. I just want to make a parenthesis very, very quick. When the first series of message came through, and I love the way you reflect upon the messages we bring, and you said it was very simple, and yet, but the thing is, at this point of where we are, we need to almost like break it down to the simplicity and the potency, the effectiveness of those words, because the words we're conveying carry a lot of deep frequency behind it. So every time we send out also very specific algorithm of light that comes from the message. And this is why that we have been using more simple terms, because what matters the most is that the messages received at multiple levels, including those frequencies that we're sending out. The message is always increasing and change and evolving. And this is beyond talking about mathematical formula and how the white tunnel of the universe work through the different universal matrix time and all of this. People would go like, wow, that sounds fantastic. Well, I completely got lost in translation. Well, it's more the sensational part behind it. And we're not about sensational. We're about the core aspect of where we come to help you activate yourself and help you first and foremost, get you into your empowerment. And then we can talk about universal matrix time and all of this. So it was just something that came to me that I wanted to bring like a beautiful layer to it. And that makes sense. Oh, yes. Of course, you're most welcome. So there's a lot coming up for us. I'm going to be in Mount Shasta at the end of August 26th to the 29th. I'm a guest speaker at the Mount Shasta Summer Conference called Hierarchy of Light. I put a registration link on my website under the events calendar. There's a link there. That's going to be a really powerful, that's my mission number 2 for the summer. My team came. When I got this invitation to speak at this conference, my team came and they said, we have to be there. There's a rendezvous point that we need to do, because what we're going to do the planetary vortex healing for the divine masculine energy in Mount Shasta. And they said there's other interstellar groups that are going to meet with us, and then we've got some work to do there. And I say, okay.
Really interesting vortexes there.
Oh, yes. The last time I was there was in 2014, and it was quite interesting. And then we're going back 7 years later and a 7-year cycle, and then we're in a completely different state. And so we have work to do there. So I'm going to be there in Mount Shasta at the end of August. And then we're going to be also at the International UFO Congress in September, right here in Phoenix, Arizona, from September 8th to the 11th. We're going to be vendors at the conference, and also I'm part with J3 Film, because they're going to be presenting the 3rd documentary at the film festival. That's the launching right there. Yeah. So I'm, very anticipating that launching of the documentary. Haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to be discovering it when it's presented at the film festival. And I also have a book coming up in September 21st. I am a co-author of a book coming up called Wisdom of the Silver Sister, Guiding Grace. And that's also coming in September.
Congratulations. That's exciting.
Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you. And so there's some traveling, and there's coming up, and then especially the one in Shasta, and then with the launching of other project in September. So definitely one of the best way to stay connected with me. We do have a contact form of the website that is shown on the screen right now. I'm on Facebook, and also with the podcast, Jeff and I, my co-host, we just celebrate our 1st year anniversary for the podcast called The Infinite Star Connections. Yeah, already 1 year.
Wow, congratulations. That's
awesome. Thank you.
I'm going to write that down for everyone. That's the Infinite Star Connections on YouTube.
Yes, the Star Connections on YouTube. And also we do have a Facebook page for the podcast. The podcast is under my YouTube channel, such as my name, Viviane Chauvet Galactic Healer, and then you will see that it's right at the front page. You will see the Infinite Star Connection and the podcast, all the videos, including your video when you came to the show.
Oh, yes, that's
Cheri.
right.
Yeah, it's there for everybody. So come see the archives on my YouTube channel. You can see Cheri interview. It was amazing, beautiful
Oh,
discussion. It was just,
thank you.
oh, you're so welcome.
You get a lot of great guests on your show. I know you've had like Mary Rodwell and
James Gillian.
yeah, you've had some really great guests on there. So I know a lot
Oh,
of our audiences kind of overlap. So definitely go check out Viviane's YouTube channel as well.
thank you so much, Cheri. And
Yeah.
we on the Lions, well, at the end of the Lionsgate on Sunday, August 8th, we're going to have Michael Jaco on the show. So we're really excited to have him. He's coming, it's confirmed. I got all the confirmation, so we'll be announcing that very soon. Our next guest on the Infinite Star Connections will be Michael Jaco, that many of you know and follow. So that's going to be another beautiful, beautiful communication and discussion. So
awesome, yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing everything that's coming up. So you guys heard it here. Go check out Viviane's show on the Infinite Star, or it's called the Infinite Star Connections on YouTube and also on Facebook. And, Viviane and I offer a healing meditation every month, usually on the full moon or right around the full moon. And so if you haven't checked those out, you can see those also on Viviane's channel. And I believe on my website as well, which is right here, cheriarellano.com. So if you just go there, not the ascension part, but just the main site, you'll see all of the meditations on there as well. And those can be done at any time. Anytime you just feel like you want to have a healing or a really nice deep meditation, you can watch those videos and receive all of the energy at any time. So please check those out as well. And
absolutely.
Before we go into our beautiful healing and meditation tonight, if you've liked this video, please don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And please go check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and which one am I forgetting? Telegram. For those of you who are like getting off of all social media, Telegram is a good one to stay connected with because you can make like more personal connections with people and stuff like that. So without further ado, Viviane, I would love it if you would lead us in a nice little healing meditation.
Of course, with pleasure. Thank you, Cheri. Yes. So we invite everyone to simply close your eyes and allow your body to be very comfortable, relaxing your neck, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw, and feel that energy flowing to your spine, relaxing your arms, your legs. Just bring all aspects of you in our sacred space. So we invite you just to breathe, feeling your lungs, feeling the oxygen flowing in you. Allowing your mind to have a focal point through your breath. Allowing yourself to ground into this sacred space that we are creating all together. And with each breath that you take, see and feel that you're opening yourself to receiving a greater flow for divine life force energy to come into your physical form, flowing into your chakra network, to your spinal column, expanding also into your energy field, clearing your mind, healing your heart. Just feel this divine life force energy flowing. It's like a beautiful golden liquid light that just flow through you to the quantum flow, allowing you to sink deeper into an altered state of relaxation, releasing time and space, releasing schedule, releasing thought forms, just a pure state of relaxation through the light. And just keep breathing consciously, sinking deeper and slower into your quantum space for healing, transformation, and expansion. And now we invite you to see, feel, or imagine this beautiful golden sphere above your crown chakra, and let the intelligence and the energy of that sphere of light to gently come down from your crown down to your third eye, the front and the back of your chakra, clearing and restoring your third eye to its full capability. Remember to keep breathing deeply and slowly. Now feel the light moving down to your throat chakra, to the front and the back, opening your own ability to bring in higher form of languages, communications, language of light, releasing and healing any form of oppression around communication and self-expression, past, present, and future, in all aspects of space and time. Just feel this deep healing energy to your throat, also moving to the cervicals, helping to release also any aspect around your neck that you may carry. And now we're bringing the sphere of light into your heart center, the front and the back of your chakra. It is time now to release any unresolved emotional issues, trauma, known and unknown layers, memories, and imprints that no longer serve your highest and best. And that includes the emotions that you may absorb by the human collective. Feel this release from the front and the back of your heart chakra. Releasing also pressure off of your spine. Beautiful. And then let's the sphere of light, the intelligence of the light, to move through your solar plexus, all three layers, the upper part, the middle part, and the lower part of your solar plexus. Also releasing pressure off of the lower back, restoring your digestive tract, allowing to release any compression, opening this channel of energy and your core light. Feel that you are empowered, self-secure, self-confident, Just keep breathing deeply and slowly into your body, allowing the intelligence of the light to work on you and with you. And now we're moving down to your sacral, to the front and the back, harmonizing your emotional field, balancing the sacred divine feminine and the divine masculine within you, opening your creativity, inspirations, and also new visions. Just keep breathing into the light and feel this activation, releasing any form of resistance, known and unknown. Just let everything flow. And now we're moving down to your root chakra, opening the front and the back of your chakra, releasing any survival mode, lack, anxiety, scarcity mentality, releasing any sparks of, of fear. Release these low density energies and frequencies that retract you into primal energies, to feel secure and grounded into your physical form, to feel solid on your 2 feet, certain of your path in spite of the changes, to feel that you're living in complete abundance of all kind, releasing pressure all the way to the tailbone, the hips area, down your feet, down your legs, restoring a more natural resonance of light and equilibrium within yourself and in relations to your life, all aspect of life. And now the intelligence of the light, it's moving down all the way past your feet, and will circle back up from the base of your spine and moving up to your spine all the way back to the cervicals, creating a powerful energetic stretch, opening your spinal column, aligning your chakra network and your internal vortexes of light with more light, vitality, energy, clarity, and inspiration, allowing the light to move up past your crown chakra all the way to your soul star chakra and beyond. To feel this beautiful, pure energy field around you, feeling that you are at peace and in harmony with yourself, to feel confidence in what's coming your way, welcoming all the blessings that comes with your path. And remember that you are far more powerful than you give yourself credit for. In case of doubt, always come back to your light and breathe into the power of your divine light. It brings you back in synchronization with your higher self, your supreme self, and the sacred matrix of life. And now, let's take a deep breath to the gateway of your heart. Breathe in and release. One more time, deep breath in and release. the integration of the light and the transmission of light will continue to work with you. You are now welcome to open your eyes and return to your sacred space. Welcome back.
Good.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, welcome back.
Thank you so much. I was there. I was just hiding. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful and so clearing and healing. I could feel I was processing a lot of energy for everyone, it felt like.
Yes, you're right. I felt it too. I felt it was very potent, like very deeply clearing, like going by, like stages of light coming through. And then I can feel like an expansion at the end, opening up. And then when we were just about to return consciously in our space after the second breath, I can see the energy field that it created around everyone. And so that those imprint, whether it's to the recording or anyone who wants to go back to that segment and listen to it, you'll be able to be brought back into the same space and being able to clear again. And every time that you do it, there's other layers and there's going to be a different aspect coming through every time. So but for today, in that beautiful imprint of what we just did, give yourself a chance, a space to integrate, to allow that to be a part of you.
Yes, yes. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anna. We have Anna DeLuca in the chat room. Thank you for being here. And our friend Dexter popped in all the way from Australia. Hey, Dex, thanks for coming in. And also Elfman Pat Breezy was here too, whose power just went out due to storms. So he had to go find candles. But that was pretty powerful. And what a beautiful way to end this lovely interview and time with you. It didn't feel like an interview. It felt like, two friends hanging out. And I love, just being in your space and spending this time with you. It's always a pleasure. And we all, I'm sure, learned so much tonight and just loved being in the energy with the collective and yourself. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Viviane.
Yeah, thank you for having us. I always say, whenever I'm invited to a place, I come as a big group. It's all together. So it's always a joy to be with you, Cheri, and also, to also be of service together, because I know you do a lot of amazing work and just the ascension session, the meditation we do together. I know you had also a lot of other very powerful, gifted light workers on your podcast in the past, and so it just warms my heart to see, every time that someone said yes to be of service in whatever channel that is. You are a very powerful anchor of light, and that's what we need the most right now.
Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. It's always nice to hear, definitely service is a big part of my mission, my soul mission. And I know it is for yours as well. And probably a lot of the people watching this show. So guys, everyone, stay on your path, stay in your light, stay true to your truth, your inner truth. And please go and watch some of the other shows on this channel if you haven't already. And please subscribe and like this video. And don't forget to go check out Viviane's website, infinitehealingfromthestars.com, where you can learn where she's going to be in Sedona and Mount Shasta later this year. And also where you can connect to her podcast as well and listen to some of her interviews. So Thank you again so much for coming on the show. And thank you, everyone. It's always an honor to do these shows for you. I appreciate you spending your time and hanging out with us. And to all my friends, Anna and Linda and Dexter and Pat and everyone else, thank you so much for coming in the chat room. Have a beautiful weekend. Bye.